Welcome to Doron Yoga, everybody, and welcome, Vanessa. Thanks for joining us today. Hands-on adjustments, super yummy, super delicious, super fun. Sometimes great for safety, for corrections, but one pose that really feels good, the pigeon prep. So we're gonna work on the pigeon, the supine version, and I'll show you guys a little bit how to do it to deepen, how to do it to feel good, to realign the body, and we'll have Vanessa help us with that. We'll start with pigeon with the right foot forward. Remember that the more the foot goes out, the more intense it is. Vanessa's on the flexible side, so she's got it more out. Some of us will have the foot back in all the way at the groin. Make sure that as you take the foot out, you're not losing your hip neutrality, the squareness of the hip. When you're ready, slowly start to lower down. Again, each one of you will lower to a different place, but we're gonna focus on the adjustment. I'm gonna have to misalign her for a moment. And one thing to remember is a lot of people have the back leg outside, not in line with the hip. In that case, I'm gonna lift to support her knee and help her bring it back in so that her leg is in line with the hip. The other thing is we gotta see that the hips are actually aligned square. She's very close to perfect, but you can see the side is just a little lower than this side. So in that sense, I can bring her back up a tiny bit, right? And then since it's gonna be a hands-on adjustment, instead of like letting her go and she didn't fall back, but many people do fall back, I usually keep this hand here, lock her in place with the other hand, and now that she's got the correct alignment, I can go ahead and deepen, do the feel good and feel a little more intense. I like to use my thumb and go a little bit into the hip, pulling it down. I'm gonna press that, but this will lift this side up, so to counter that, I'm gonna press the left side down as well. So both of these pressing down. Be careful, it's great for flexi people. For other people, use less pressure because that can really intensify the pose. Placing both hands down, being again very cautious of your weight. I'm pressing gently. For those of you little people working on big people, maybe you're pressing a little harder with your body weight, but notice the person and don't always judge by the size. Sometimes they're just very tight and it's intense even though you can't really tell. One thing I look at is to make sure that their hands are not squinching or there's nothing that shows tension or stress. If there is, immediately back off and ask them if they're okay. Don't push beyond that. Once I got the hips down, I can now start the loving moment and I can actually add a little bit of a massage, especially since I see some little bit of roundedness here. I can massage that, and then again to deepen it again, I'll press down with possibly one hand down across the other hand, making sure the shoulders are relaxed, there's no tension, which is very common. When it's tight in the hips, we tend to tense in the shoulders, and I'll do the same on the other side, keeping the left side of the hip down, a tiny little bit of yumminess, both hips down. And then be cautious of how you let go. Let go gently because this may have been pretty intense. Thanking her for allowing me to help her in that. And then slowly, Vanessa's gonna come up and make her way to downward dog, if you're willing. You can move around a tiny bit, and when you're ready, switch around and bring the left foot forward. How are you doing? Feeling okay?
Yeah, great.
Enjoying the adjustments?
Very much.
And slowly she comes down. Again, remember to adjust the foot and whatever you're doing according to your level. And that may be your hands-on adjustment as a teacher. Maybe you're telling them, well, you went too far out with the foot. The basic things that Vanessa in this case has right doesn't mean that everybody does. So start with seeing the basic alignment, the safety issues, making sure their knee feels okay and that it's actually a hip stretch. Right? So barely any adjustment. She's got a pretty perfect tiny movement of the back leg so it's in line with the hip. Here I go, placing again one hand on the thigh, one hand back just to kind of give a little bit of pressure here. And then I drop and I breathe with her. Being present is at least half of the adjustment, right? And then I can go and give both hands on the lower back hip area. Very aware to see that they're not reacting in any way that shows tension, whether shoulders or hand. A hint of massage, just because you want to tell them that you're not only intensifying their pose, but you also like them as students and want them to be happy. And it feels good. And hopefully you want for their benefit and that they would feel good and deepen the practice. And then the cross version, I'm doing it the reverse way this time. Left hand pressing, right hand massaging a tiny bit. You can massage the shoulder. If you see anything tight, just reach there. Even if you're not like, dude, that's weird, I don't want to massage. Make sure that they're really soft and released and there's no tension. On the other side, I think what I do is a lot of what I love to receive, and I love little massages, so I love giving them. If you don't want to, you can just make sure your student is just released. Last little even touch. Always leave with a place where you kind of left them even on both sides, and then slowly releasing them. Right? And then Vanessa will slowly come back up, go to her downward dog to release. So how you enter and exit your adjustment is also very important. Always making sure that you're coming in gently and slowly deepening and exiting gently. Come to sit. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.